Believe it or not, this is a orange tree, like a navel orange tree. When I bought it about 3 months ago, it had all of its leaves and it had 2 oranges on it. I planted it, I watered it the perfect amount, not too much, not too little. And I noticed that the one orange it had kind of started to look a little dry, maybe. So what I did is I used fertilizer, and then I noticed it started to drop leaves. It dropped leaves, and it kind of curled up a little. And the best advice I got was that it might have had fungus. So I used fungicide, all the kind of fertilizers that it needs. And below I have cantaloupe. That's not what's the issue here. Basically, this tree is dying. There's more to this video than me just showing you an orange tree. I have another one, 2 trees over, that did something similar. But they didn't do it this badly. It dropped a lot of leaves. It's not producing any fruit. It produces flowers and they fall off. But I just want to ask people, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but what does one do as a gardener or a farmer with a tree that does not produce fruit? He does everything he can to make it produce fruit until it doesn't. And when it doesn't produce fruit, then you get all the advice you can. I've done everything for this, for it to produce fruit. There's a tree behind me which has extenders. It has roots that come up all over the place. It's a native tree. It does not need to take the nutrients from these little trees, but it does, and that's possibly part of the issue. I like to come out early and do this work before it gets hot. You just can't tell with this camera view, but there's a lot of mist out there. It's very beautiful mist. But yeah, let's take a closer look at this tree here. I'm talking about right up close to it. See if there's any buds forming, any new life forming somewhere on it. It's really nothing. It's just kind of dormant. Basically dead, but not. Is this anything new? No, that's where it, I don't know. Right there, maybe. One thing you can do for a tree like this, it's completely stubborn and, let's just say it, useless. It has no use. It doesn't even provide shade. With the remaining green that it has, it's just even though I use insecticide, if I were to neglect it, it would just be food for pest insects. So it's in the way. before I cut it down and pull the root ball out, well, I'll be probably, if I had to, I would cut it down because I have all these cantaloupes growing here. My last resort, I guess, would be to dig very deep all around here. And I'm the kind of person that likes to think in analogies. Or parables, whatever you want to call them. You know, we have lost a lot over the years. When I was a child, we had rights. You know, I could walk up to a police officer and he might be having a bad day, but he'd put on a fake smile and say, "How you doing, son? You keeping out of trouble?" Now it's like, no, it's not like that anymore. This isn't like some dark video because there's solutions that people don't do. They don't do solutions. They kick in the clutch at the last minute. How are you going to learn to do all this in the clutch? You're not going to make it. In previous videos, I told you that I lost a friend from middle school named Chris Harris. He was killed by the police, not by being shot, by being shoved into a wall where he broke his neck and had a severe concussion and died 5 years later. Another friend named Chris Van Leer, who had been very close to mine around 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. And he died after having some kind of bypass surgery. And sometimes you're very sad, but you're even more angry than you are sad. Very beautiful out. I hope the mist shows up because it's very dry around here. So this is a rare shot. Folks, there's more to the story than the two people that I lost through death. Sometimes it's just too much to go into detail. But just like this tree that's producing no fruit, and I'm going to have to do everything I can, dig around it, get any intruding roots out of the way, and in its place put in extremely powerful and fertile compost in and around it. After all that's done, I have a feeling if it does come back, it'll be a long time before it puts forth leaves, and even longer till it produces fruits. And by the way, all these bottles here are for another project. I'm just kind of storing them in a unfinished fort that we have here. But yeah, this is a picture of what's going on in the world right now, and let's just say because of government and the wonderful job it has done, our family is short 2 people. You know, life is like that. If you don't come up with solutions, all you have are photographs. All you have is memories of how things used to be. I am actually going to dig all the way around this. And I do not have very much strength today. Okay? This is not an orange tree root. These are not orange tree roots. This is not an orange tree root. It's coming from that. If you want to think of that as big government, go ahead. It produces no fruit. It does produce some shade. But if these were living, they'd be about 1.5 feet taller by now. At least that one would. The one that did start to produce leaves again, but no fruit. Welcome to shaking the hand of the long arm of the law. We're going to cut all these off. We're going to do the best we can. And any of you that might be thinking, no, that's coming from the orange tree. No. I transplanted the one that I just showed you that did have small new leaves on it that have not been growing from another place. And when I did, I thought, that thing has a lot of roots. But when I pulled it out, this little tiny itty bitty root ball around the orange tree came out with all this, pardon me, but all this shit. I don't use bad words very often, but that's what it is. It's garbage. It's not even, okay, I'll use the word nutrient because manure is equal to the word that I said. So all this quote unquote nutrient isn't even fit for the dunghill. If I'm going to relate it to what has happened to the system that we're in. Let's see how far down this goes. That's fresh compost. Not store-bought, but yeah, just looks like dirt. I don't need to go into detail how we made it, but mostly it's leaves and food scraps and nutrient. So we're going to fill that in. I'm not going to be able to get all the roots that are attacking this tree, and a lot of those are from the tree. They're not going to do anything anymore. As for this tree, I've been cutting off pieces of it little by little until we get to the bottom. I've actually drilled holes into it and poured acid. I'm going to try to find something else that will just poison the tree because, I mean, I really don't want to dig up every single tree, take all this dirt out and get rid of every root. I'm sure that tree is going to need to be continuously attacked for a long time. But if this doesn't work, then sad to say this is going to get cut down too. There are, like, this apple tree somehow is fighting the advancement of the roots. That mandarin orange tree is sure doing a good job of fighting. That other apple tree is too. This one's still a question. It's kind of dormant. It's not getting better or worse. It's just the leaves are kind of curling and they're all new leaves. But I'm going to start mixing this up and putting it together. We're getting there. Yeah. Did not sleep well last night. Just putting it lightly. I didn't sleep last night, unless you call 2 hours of sleep sleeping. But this had to be done. I'm gonna finish filling this in, water it, and I think I'm gonna take some big chunks off of this tree. It just needs to die. It needs to go away. It's no good. It served its purpose. It was a big, tall shade tree, but it's robbing me of pretty much every possible tree that could feed us. So, let's see what we can do next. Not too bad. I did used to do a little landscaping when I was a tot, you know, like age 18 to 20. Little boy thinks he's an adult. Learn how to put in dirt like this. Helps keep the water in. And also it's going to sink down. Dirt sinks down a lot. I'm going to probably have to add all this after I water it in. But now let's turn to the culprit. Possible culprit. Right? I just want to say, I've been using neem oil, which is really good for killing fungus. I don't think this tree had fungus. I think it's the roots that attacked it. But I'm doing everything I can think of to make this thing survive. In the end, it may not. And I hope it does survive. Because I like oranges. I love mandarin oranges. That thing's going to live. Probably. It hardly even needs fertilizer. But looks like I put some beams under this tree house. I wouldn't be able to stand on it. Oh. This axe I got when I was in my late 20s. I was doing home remodeling, and a lot of times when you do home remodeling, it's a house that's got a bunch of stuff in it, and it came with this axe. I ground my last name into it with a grinder, and one day I decided to mark it. Alpha and Omega. First and the last. Maybe it'll be the last time this tree attacks my plants, I hope. Now I'm cutting it down little by little, piece by piece. I don't want all this stuff falling on my trees. But it's not very tough. I don't have to swing the axe. Part of the reason this tree is doing so well is because it's gone beyond its native, quarters, which is deep underground in the bedrock, which it has penetrated. I know because I've dug way deep down there. I've seen some of its root system. It does not need to suck off of my trees. And it is. You can see where I'm going with this. It's another analogy. I'm going to keep whacking at this and take off some more branches. I don't have much room to swing. And as you can see, it's almost like it's trying to hurt the orange tree, huh? Every time. Well, probably next one is that one. That's where I bored some holes to pour acid inside. Yeah. Little by little, this tree has to go. All of you arborists must be very angry with me right now, but hey, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a carnivore. I'm not even an omnivore. I didn't make this up. Some other prepper or survivalist coined the phrase Hungarian. Now, I could take some leaves off and eat them, but how long would that sustain me? Oranges have a lot of fructose and vitamin C. This tree has, it needs to go. If I was going to name it something, I'd call it the Beast. I might even go as far as to call it the Beast of Revelation, because if I were to let it to its devices, it'd kill all my plants. Because it's not satisfied with the very deep root system it already has. It wants my stuff too. So, say goodbye to the tree, everybody. Probably this time next year, it's going to be gone. And I'll probably put a staircase up here, something I can use. God bless all you guys. Look at the sunrise. Can't thank you enough. Please like, subscribe, and share. We really need the support. Thank you.